Hey P-Dub, what's up, man? You gotta sharpen some tools today. I gotta sharpen my chisels before I finish this bed. I'm gonna try to get those mounts out uh, in their boxes today, and then they should be out before the weekend. So you guys should get them fairly shortly. But welcome. Let me spray some bug spray. What's up, man? Sorry about the feedback. I'll turn that off. Kind of look at my chisels, and when I look at my chisels, I can kind of tell which ones are my favorites, although I kind of already know. Good morning, Billy. Good morning, Wes. Wes, it looked like you called me a minute ago, but maybe a butt dial. Pocket dial, as they sometimes say. This chisel is really useful for this application, I think. We'll find out. Stone gets gunked up so fast, man. Because I shouldn't have used that. I used this grapeseed oil on it. And that stuff got down into the pores of the stone, basically messed the stones up, man. So I'm forced to dress them all the time now. But you live and you learn. And this set's not that expensive, so I have to get if I have to get a new one, not the end of the world. But I really kind of have dialed in, so it's a little disappointing. Shoops, welcome. Who we got in the house? We got Plywood, we got Billy, we got Wes, we got Shoops. Lots of people. The angle up slightly. Also got this toothpaste that I'm gonna use. Shout out Mike. We're gonna use that with the polishing compound to strop. Shout out to Wes, man. That bow tie looks amazing. Not just saying that to say it. It's incredible. I've got a piece of chestnut in here that you would think came from your wood, man. It's like the exact same thing as that. Now, here's what I could do. I could cut a bow tie out that looked like the same wood as yours. But I don't know if I could carve that piece of wood like you carved it. So I told Heather, I was like, yeah, we could do a bow tie challenge, but I ain't gonna win that one. Now, when I take my stropping leather and put it up on my stone, it schmutzes my stone up. So I got to move it further. Can't be right there. It's got to kind of be on the edge, or unfortunately, sometimes in my hand. I don't know if y'all can see that. We're going to take a bit of this toothpaste, put it on here. Learn this from Mike. We'll see if it works. Let me do this. I'm going to move this and put something else up here. Block wood. Put a block right here. Put my stropping leather on top of it. I want to see whether this works. Anybody have opinions on this? Thanks, Wes. Wes said he's going to be on the road, so he can't comment much, but he is listening. And if you all have not seen Wes fabricate this bow tie out of chestnut, please check out his live that started last night, 9 o'clock. crush that. Again, this is toothpaste on stropping, on a stropping leather. Stropping strap, strop. Thus far, it does feel really sharp. So let me go back to the sharpening stone. It's a belly angle.
Well, yours is a freckle
Not
angle.
complimentary, but sorry.
It's just that.
Yeah.
That's what Carrie said. She said belly for you is freckles.
She said that? She
Yeah.
in the chat?
No, she said yesterday because Mike calls it. He goes, "Welcome back to my belly" whenever it goes
Yeah.
down. But for you, it's explosive on your hands.
If you put pressure on the tip of your chisel, it's more likely you're going to match that bevel. Just a pro tip. This is probably my favorite single chisel. Not too small, it's not too big. It kind of is almost usable for every application. Shout out to all my members in the chat. I saw Shoot, of course, Wes, Plywood. We got Billy in the chat. Billy's not a member, but he is a friend of the program. Heather B, Plywood. Hopefully I said everybody's name. Sharpening chisels or polishing chisels, because I don't think they need any like coarse sharpening. They just need just a tune up. I'm using rainwater from around a rainwater tank on a whetstone here. Hopefully y'all can hear that. Get to the bottom of the chat here. They should, man. Work IQ. I need to put a piece of tape over that. Shout out Work IQ. Appreciate you, but they do not sponsor me at all. It's the one label I have not covered up because I feel like it'll come off easily. But Wes is right. Work IQ, man. They probably made so many sales off this live stream. Wes's comment was that company who made the Vice ought to sponsor you. As I said, for real, we got to make some data workshop stickers to put over their logo. She said data. Dad's Workshop stickers to put over that logo, correct? I'm with that. Some Dad's Workshop logo branding over it. I'm gonna one more set of passes with this chisel because this is really a heavily used one here. I can feel grit on there, and you do not want to. Do all the chisels, polishing, sharpening session here. And then I'll go back and strop them all. You can't strop them. You can just hope to contain them. Am I right? All right. All right. Another one of my heavily used chisels. And as a point of advice, I would say if you are sharpening knives, smaller blades on your whetstone, that you dress your whetstone more frequently because it's going to put a divot in your whetstone. So dress your stone frequently. Y'all can see all that metal material right there, combination of stone and metal material there coming off. Not doing this for no reason, guys. I need all these chisels to finish this bed. And if I'm going to continue fashioning mallets, I got to have sharp chisels for that. They got to be ready when I do the job. If I don't start with sharpening, I won't do it. For those who forgot, please hit the like button. It says plywood. Plywood, also generous benefactor of the program. We appreciate plywood. Plywood's right. If you haven't liked, double tap that screen for me. And we don't do this for clicks. We do the whole thing, okay? So everybody knows. Anybody else obsessed with that show, Mud Madness? Shout out Mud Madness. Show's got me hooked, man. I've never been mudding a day in my entire life. Ooh, that's not good when you do that. Alright, big chisel time. I think that one's done. And we'll strop them all. Really want this flat. Should be nice and flat now. My boxcar, my soapbox car team. Yeah, it's tough. I'll probably have to put plywood on my soapbox team because he would be Mr. Safety. Then, I don't know. It's tough. I would have to have a team of some intrepid racers to build a soapbox car, I think. Who's down? Let's build us a championship soapbox car representing all the YouTubing woodworkers, YouTubing crafters. It'd be a gigantic hammer or something. This is my Sorby framing chisel. I don't know the millimeters, I can't remember. Use this one pretty frequently. Oh, soapbox race? Wes said, what's that? We've been watching those Red Bull soapbox races. And then I also watched the show Mud Madness. It's basically country folk. I won't use the term that starts with an R because that might actually be offensive to some of my audience. But let's say working class country folk from the middle and southern part of the country get together and race, mud race, get their like buggies and mud, something I have no familiarity with whatsoever, but is awesome to watch. Somebody's starting a fire. I can smell it. Wes, you ever been mudding before? Oh yeah, he's driving. He can't answer me that. Anybody in the chat ever been mudding? Right. There's a festival where that they do called Rednecks with Paychecks. I thought it was hilarious. That's where they have the kids come down the hill, or the people come down the hill in the Power Wheels. The toy truck challenge. I used to watch those on YouTube before I even knew what it was. Four wheeler. That's what they call it down here. 4-wheeler. They call them buggies. What else do they call them? Bikes. Some people call them bikes even when they're not bikes. I have ridden a 4-wheeler on the beach though. Back when you could do that. I mean, you might still be able to do that on the Outer Banks, but back when I was like 11, I took a 4-wheeler on the beach on the Outer Banks. That was fun. So if I haven't been mudding, I guess I've been sanding. Hey, I've been sanding. It all circles back to woodwork. And then some of them have these things they call side-by-sides. Some of y'all might know what those are. Basically like 4-wheelers with 2 seats in a cabin. Kind of like what I would call a dune buggy. You know? Now they got like nitrous. And they got 1000cc motors and bigger, you know, so pretty high tech now. You gotta put a bunch of money down to win one of those races, which is kind of what the show's about. You can see those metal grinds depositing into the pores of the stone there. There you go. Robert G's from West Virginia, man. They know about that stuff out there. That's like their favorite pastime out there. See, Robert G's a real mudder, so he knows. We got one in the house. Thank you, Robert G, for popping up. Now we can ask you all about mudding. Remember that dude from Robert G? Remember that dude from MTV? He was on that crazy show they had about the kids from West Virginia. Remember that show they had for a short amount of time about the kids from West Virginia? The boy, the crazy kid on there, basically name him Beer Can, because that's the way he was. But he died, man, after the show while he was mudding. He got stuck up under the truck and died of carbon monoxide poisoning. It was crazy. Apparently that happens a lot because they'll be revving the engine up. They'll redline it, dumping gas out the back. BW Benjamin, welcome. Sharpening Chisels, man. All the way from Daneland, it's BW Wood Turning. Welcome. I believe it's the evening there now. It's 6 o'clock, 12, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Probably about 7 o'clock at night over there. There's a lot of activity on my Discord. I'm going to have to respond to some of that when I get off of here. I saw you on there, Ben. I just didn't have time to respond. Yeah, it's a nice chisel. It's kind of similar, you know, these framing chisels are similar to y'all's lathe tools, except for that the metal implement is longer. On you guys, is the handle is longer. I can hold it up and compare it. Here's my one and only lathe knife, right? I only have one because I don't have a lathe. I bought it at an antique store just because I wanted it. And here's my chisel so you can see them compared to each other. Not a huge difference. Can y'all see that? Oh, definitely the angle is totally different. That's how I knew it wasn't a chisel, because there's something wrong with that angle on there. And I'm like, what is this thing? And I figured out it was a lathe knife. I go crazy in an antique store that has metal tools, man. Like a kid in a candy store. Let me do a couple more passes with this framing chisel. I just caught myself with that, guys. It's a little dangerous today. Alright, now let's polish. $5.12, yeah. Makes sense. Let's start with this first one. Toothpaste has a mild abrasive in it, so it's basically like sharpening with very, very, very high grit. Maybe I added a little much there. That's the clean part of the strop. Now these beveled chisels are best for, fine work, but not mortises necessarily because of the side bevels. Let's go back up to the toothpaste part. I'll probably go back over these again. Heck yeah. Feels good. Smells good too. Minty fresh. I can see it grabbing pieces of gunk from the top. You can kind of see it. You can see why that would work. I've never done it before, but it does work. You can see, look at that schmutz that's in it. It's strop. Good to keep a clean workspace because that dust that gets up on stuff doesn't help you when you're trying to do fine work like this, like get all the schmutz out of a blade. Yeah, BW. I think like Heather mentioned that one time how she thought you might be on your own on that thing. There's a lot of guys that are their wives and significant others do not care for their live streaming. I'm very lucky. I don't know if I did this one. I got one more to do here. Oh yeah, lots of schmutz on there. BW says his wife has been complaining about his CNC running all day. Well, you gotta make a batch of something, you know? He said it's like using a router heavy, so yes, they make some noise. BW Wood Turning said, that is why I made my setup like I have, so I can do it myself. And Heather B said, I really never thought about it noise-wise before. I understand, can't stand the planer. I think she means the router. She doesn't care for the router much at all. All right, let's polish over them one more time. We're gonna give them one more stropping each. Wipe them down, and we'll be done with this. Start with the large, and we'll go down. BW said, I've had the planer, bandsaw, and CNC running from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. on her day off from work. So she was. Yeah, I understand. Miss Heather said, ha ha ha, I totally understand that. A hustle is a hustle, though, and ain't she right about that? Gotta be on your grind. Gotta be on your grind. BW, just tell your wife this in these exact words. Be like, honey, Don't don't hate the player, hate the game. That's all you got to say. Be like, honey, I know. Don't hate the player though, hate the game. Just say those exact words. And if she gets mad at you, she said, where the hell did you get that from? Say, Calvin told me to say it, and I'll take the blame. Who's Calvin? This guy. This American. Ah, I thought so, man. So you're making a batch of something. You're batch producing something in there. Thought you might be doing that. Some mad scientist in the lab down there cooking up a batch of some sort of wood product. Hey, double tap that screen, y'all. Give me a like. Got 11 likes. Help me out. Yeah, man, that's nice. BW Woodturner said the CNC makes me $250 per hour, so it's better that I keep that puppy on. I would agree with that. Does she know how much money it makes? Then she might perk up about it a little bit. You know? Or maybe not. Money's not everything. Phase 2 is going to be working on this bed, guys, and getting it done. And I get those mallets out today. I'm going to measure this and lay this out here. I had a chisel down there the whole time too. That's nice to know. That one's still sharp. Hey, babe. Camera. That way. Yeah.
What these things?
What? Yeah. Need my pencil. Need my speed square. A couple other things on here too. Oh, that's right here. That's good.
focus the camera.
Crush it.
I'm trying. I'm hiding. He's going to try and finish rolling as soon as he puts the new belt on. It's a good day for that. Nice and cool. Robert G said he didn't straighten up the shop and organize, which is what Russ did yesterday. It's a good time of year.
I'm gonna have to get more about Robert G and his mudding experiences. Get my microphone over here so people can hear me. Get my phone. Let's see what people are talking about.
Yeah, that's what I've done before.
That's from Billy's birthday too.
I like this angle. It's
different.
interesting.
Alright, so I got that laid out. That's this one though. This is this one. This one. Only problem is here. I have a gap on the end, I think, if I do this. So what I gotta do is space these last two slightly different, unfortunately. I hate to do that, but I kinda have to. It's got a funny dovetail now. I must have cut this one out live. Actually, I cut them all out live, didn't I? I can't draw on an uneven line. So y'all can't see, but there's bark on the other side of this board that makes it uneven and not straight. So I have to kind of. It's tricky. That's all I can say. Because I have to cut into the piece to get that dovetail, and I'm gonna have to wing it a little bit on that spot. I'm gonna turn my fan on also.
Are you going to chisel that side or this side first?
It'll be. I can do that side.
Doesn't matter. I can move to that side. It's fine, guys.
Yeah, do that side first.
This side?
Yeah. This one first here.
Which is good if you're going to chisel this side first, actually. Do you want to chisel out in so you don't put the camera on the inside of it? I can do that.
It's just that if I try to chisel it over here, I'm not choosing to never go back this far.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'll put the camera on the inside. Right. You make your lines and I'll do it.
Remember Appreciate you being here, Carrie. And I know your time's limited. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you stopping by. And have a great day. I'll probably be crouching in this position for a while, so if you give me more free time later. Hey, bye, Woodshed. Appreciate you. Good dude, Woodshed. Bye, Dan. Okay, so she got to take her wife to therapy 3 times a week. What a dedicated wife to do that. You're a good lady, Carrie. I'll do this.
Want this?
Nah, this is good for you. I'll sit up. Yep, that is almost done. Getting these drums put in, and I'm gonna sand and clean all the components. These better to be inside the line than outside, obviously. Nah, that'll vibrate. Hey, Woodshed. Shout out to Woodshed by Dan. Let me go get my mallet so I can do a wood clap. I'm a little outside, the line's not great. We can clean it up. I'm gonna go get my mallet. Woodshed by Dan with the super chat. Super chat. Woodshed by Dan. If you haven't, go subscribe to Dan right now. A little bit outside this line here is not great. It's kind of but you see the quality of the movie. Much Well, I want to make the short of it. It would be a good one and all. I just saw Paul sell it short where he marks out dovetails using only marking knife for eyes and muscle memory. The champion's muscle memory is good, but hey, I agree with you. Love Paul Sellers. Watch those guys' channels, they'll teach you what you need to know pretty quickly. more shout out to Woodshed by Dan. Check out Woodshed by Dan. Can't hit this very hard because I got the phone in the way. Sorry, it's a little high. You can see right here. We can carry that off when we get to it. Smash that like button, folks. Says carry. Carry's right. I need y'all to hit that like button. I'm gonna back this camera up just a little bit so I can get my frame with this over here. More than thank you, Terry. Terry said love your socks. Appreciate that, Terry. I have got one with the sock game. They're Beetlejuice together. They're mixed match, but they're actually natural both Beetlejuice socks. Yes. Dad's workshop just posted. Woodshed by Dan's link in case you have not subscribed to Woodshed by Dan. Maybe the smaller shit, but we can do that here. Scoo-Dooby. Scoo-Dooby, I need to get my mallets. Scoo-Dooby with a super chat, $4.99. Let me go get my mallet so I can do a wood clap. Wow. See, that's how excited I was. Scoo-Dooby, thank you. Scoo-Dooby, you got a channel? Rocks and socks, man. Comment yesterday was we need to convince the Crocs company to make steel-toed Crocs. Oh yeah. Good idea. Thank you. Thanks too, dude. If you got a channel, promote it. Yeah, that was an ash clap. Cool. I made that ash clap. I made that ash clap. With a $5 super chat. Woodshed by Dan. Super chat. Appreciate those super chat donations. Keeps us going around here. Keeps us making good stuff and making content. Daniel Gandara in the place, friend of the program, man member. A lot of members up in here. That's too easy, man. Somebody will have a name and it'll confuse me. What's the deal?
Where's your microphone?
Oh, behind me?
Yeah, don't do that. So I can not to put it on you.
I don't know where you put it. Would that work?
It'll work fine.
It'll be like one of those traits. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Dad's Workshop. Hey. No lie, when I was little, I met this guy that had a trach, and my dad had told me stories about this guy. He was like, everybody loved him, but he had chain smoked, so he had to get a trach. And no lie, he gave me his little trach talking machine. I walked around and talking with it to everyone. It's kind of hard to use, but the funny thing about him was he had a hole in his neck for a while, and he would smoke cigars through the hole in his neck. No lie, I can't make that up. Bye, Carrie. Have a great day. Thank you for being here. Carrie, friend of the program. Scoodoobie, friend of the program. Woodshed by Dan, friend of the program. Appreciate all y'all. Scoodoobie. You know we gotta cut this wood and put the wood into it really, really fast. I can't do it with the camera right there. I gotta move the camera. Whoop. Like a glove. Like a glove. Yes, sir. Wes said, am I coming from the other side? Yeah, well, yeah, because that's really the side like John said yesterday. That's the side I prefer to come from because that's this visible side. You can mess up the inside and it won't be ugly. Mike is making stuff. What it do? Said Mike, friend of the program. Also Wes, friend of the program. Daniel, longtime friend of the program. Yeah, man, in his case it was the nicotine of the cigar. I think they didn't even have stuff like, they may have had the patch back then, but you're not gonna get a good old boy on the patch. That's never gonna happen. That's never gonna happen. All right, let me get to the other side and I'll just flip the camera. That's right, man. Appreciate you. Mike said I need to get happy. Where else to go but Dad's Workshop? That's where we go when we want some glee. It's a gleeful place. We live in fantasy land where every day is a good day. And we're always making progress. And we don't make any mistakes. Well, nah, we really do make mistakes here, actually. All the time. Admittedly. Admittedly, we make mistakes. Sometimes we make steaks. Steaks. Oh man, not a good thing to hear about your transmission being shredded. I'm gonna plug this phone in for just a minute, so y'all give me a minute on the chat. I'm gonna let Mike run the chat here for a minute. Mike and Wes, I got folks in here who know how to chat. Wes might still be on the road, but give me a minute to charge that phone so I can watch the chat. Yep. Make sure it's back far enough I can strike my framing chisel against it. It's gonna be here. And then you're gonna have yourself a Scooby snack. I'm about to ask Mike what's wrong. What's wrong, Mike?
He said his transmission.
Oh, the transmission. Yeah. That's something wrong. There you go. That's when you switch your channel from craftsman, do-it-yourselfer to mechanic channel.
Yeah. Learning how to rebuild a tranny.
Today we're working on a transmission. It was lesson 2, penned into my lesson book. And I think that's going to be it right there. So. Okay, I gotta lay something out real quick. Thanks. Can you hand me that marking gauge right there? Yep, thanks. Use what?
Yeah, gotta find one that's like 1K-ish, or roll the dice on it. It was good when I took it out one.
You can probably find rebuilt ones on eBay Motors. That's where you get the cheapest motors from. You can get your engine rebuilt, or you can get a warranty brand new one.
Yeah.
You know, like Mike knows, like the part makers that make aftermarket stuff. Like I'm trying to think of that name in my something master. They make aftermarket engines and transmissions. Definitely people on. This is all knots, so this is going to be a tricky more to cut out, guys. You see all those knots in there? It's gonna make me look like a bad woodworker, but it's okay. Y'all have to see the way it is. Not a great spot for a mortise, but that whole piece of wood is terrible. Woodshed by Dan said, plywood, you know, I love seeing YouTube land. Great support. Yeah, man. It's better here than a lot of other platforms. You see, I can already feel. That's okay if I'm in that line. Don't want to be outside it. Now with these, I'm going to have to make more cuts in the middle. You see how it wants to take my blade and curve it all the way in? Yeah. Y'all can see that. That's the knots and the bended curvature of the grain that's taking my saw way offline. I'm not super arrogant about my sawing, but I do know how to cut a pretty straight line. So. Dave, can you do me a favor? You go turn that fan so it's kind of facing me.
Why? It's facing me right now.
Oh yeah, that's why.
That's good.
I'm going right through and out here. Oh, that feels so good. Yeah. Now this looks like it's outside this line, but this layout line is wrong here, because it should be right here. Kind of hard because I didn't sharpen this. I just pulled a new piece of lead up. But that layout line has to be a little bit left of where it is anyways. Now the way you re-angle these saws is by tipping them. You can restart your line, but really, like I said, that line is okay. We're just gonna have to work with a little bit of excess cut on this side, man. It's really hard. The knots are pinching my saw and everything, so it's not gonna be one of the prettier ones. Gotta see the bad as well as the good, I guess. See how it wants to take my saw and turn it inside? It's not my body's angle. None of that. And it's not. I knew this would be a bear. What did I say before I did this? It's gonna make me look like a bad woodworker. These knots. I got an idea too. That will employ some power tools and give my arm a break, because it took a lot to get through that. This one's gonna be inevitably looser, which is okay. As long as that battery's not broken. Yep. Thanks. I want to go straight through this knot right here. Got 3 or 4 major knots in this piece, man. Usually I put a piece of tape on there, but I don't even need to here. All right, let's clean this up. That's right, buddy. Woodshed by Dan, so that's right. Just another challenge. I said before I started cutting it, it wasn't gonna make me look very good. I do worry about these when they look like this with this many knots, is they will take your saw in precisely the direction they wanna take it, you know? We're just gonna make them more slightly bigger, and it'll be a little looser in there. So our camera, we'll move you back. Wow, that's like right over my house. I mean, literally like 50 feet above my house. In my opinion, too close for comfort. I got some ideas. Straight up police state, man. Yeah, I don't know, man. They were so close. Yeah. Now I'm gonna get my framing chisel. I do have some, I will tell you, I'll be honest with you, I got some blowout on this side like I did on that other one yesterday. Kind of glad that you all aren't looking at that side too. It's not that bad, but I need my framing chisel. Hey, babe, could you grab me a water? Parched. Ring to go back down on there. Let's check the chat. What's up, Dance at BRB? Pretty simple. Not much work for me there. Alright. I don't know what I just dropped off of that. Welcome to Dad's Workshop, ladies and gentlemen. I encourage you to double tap that screen for me and like this video. Working hard out here. We're trying to finish this bed so we can move on to other projects. I've been on this for a long time. And also, just subscribe because we're doing awesome stuff on here all the time. Just made a bunch of mallets that are about to go in the mail. Thank you. You probably could do that. Mike said I need to make me a big timber slick. I wonder what the best kind of metal for that, what kind of steel would be the best kind for that. Maybe a more flexible steel, like what you would find in a coil, like a spring, that could handle some punishment. I think that's probably the type of steel they go for. So you would have to just find the right thing to scrap. Definitely a framing chisel would be something you could make easily. The slick, you gotta have a big chunk of metal for that. Big chunk of metal. You probably could do it. If you took one of those brake rotors, you could really have this much on the end and still have a framing chisel. It's just about kind of sometimes the handle size, really, because that's giving it more leverage. This spot, I'm gonna have to come from the other angle. What a horrible, I just got wood chip in my water. A horrible mortise is all knotty. Now you go from one of those to the kind that's easy and you realize like how it's not you right away. Sometimes I need an even finer point. Wonky grain around where those sunk. Story of my life. Trying to explain to people how knots are worse than just the knot itself. It like spreads to the grain around it and causes the grain to be, now it's really tough. So I gotta like rip all these pieces out. It's like compression wood or reaction wood. All wood is not created equal, and even all woods from the same species aren't, depending on how they grow. So you sometimes have wood that grew in a curve and you try to work it, right? It had a curve to it, but the grain is really tough to work. It wants to pinch your saw and all these other things. You're like, why is it pinching my saw? Well, knots do that too. Has to do with the tightness of the grain, inconsistencies of the grain. Shave a little bit off of that here, just to be sure we can fit in there. Alright, so like I said, I'm gonna have to take some of this shoulder off. I think once I do that, it may fit. I might have to trim a little more, but let me do that. Trim that shoulder a little bit. That's been a key like a couple times here. Yeah. Sneak in here, see if that worked. This is the side right here. I'm not upset if it didn't. We'll trim as necessary. All right, so it's just a little bit of this side right here. Still might be that shoulder actually. Oh, I see. I'm beyond my line there. Okay. I think I can get it in with just an adjustment to this shoulder right here. just know when you're working wood straight from a knot, man. Just a lot more work you have to do. I want to use the right one here too. Yeah, that's the right one. That's how it fits in that mortise. That's interesting. Thank you, Pilato. Welcome, Pilato. Need y'all to double tap that screen and like this if you've been watching. If it's just morbid curiosity, whatever it may be that brought you here, just do me a favor and let YouTube know that you guiltily and secretly like this by clicking on the like thing, and then don't show anybody that you like watching woodwork lives in your spare time, and it won't be a problem. Keep it a secret, deeply concealed inside your heart. We all know those are healthy. Let's do that. Subscribe to the channel and secretly like it, and it'll be somewhat of a, there'll be some subterfuge to your watching of entertainment. You know what I mean? I'm not going to judge you. Nothing wrong with wanting to watch a ginger tippity tap tap at some wood. It's totally natural. Some may say that's what we're here for, to entertain the masses with our gingerness, you know? So thanks for being here, Pilato, and thanks for the like. Moving us up to 25. I'll give her a shot, as the Canadians would say. Shout out to all my Canadians in the house. Give her a go. Ooh, it's so very close. I know y'all heard me say that before, but it's really close here. We're gonna, I think I know what it is too. Oh my goodness. What do we got? Okay. Alright. Gotta take some more from this side. Lineum zygophalancenae. Clean up shoulders. Yep, I'm working on that, man. Right now I gotta get the mortise to fit, so there's a lot of shoulders that need to be cleaned up on here. It's also a mess with lignum. Didn't get to use lignum. Big blowout spot on that side. This is like pallet quality wood right here. This particular tie beam, if I had it to do again, I would not purchase that. I was like, I can do it no matter what the quality is. That was my go. So I think your clean up shoulders comment might actually be good. So maybe if I clean those shoulders up, maybe these cheeks a little bit. So I think you may have a point, actually. I try to listen as much as I talk. Though I think the shoulders here, I'm gonna have to take more from the shoulder, which I could just do really quickly. I'll just do it at the bandsaw. Internet must be slow right now. Internet not interneting? Hmm? Oh, John's in. Welcome back, John. Friend of our program. Just met John yesterday. You wait, Tyler. Thank you. Thank you, Lignum. Yeah, it's Norm's in the house. Oh, well, thank you. But I don't want your charity watches plywood. Never mind, I do. I do want your charity. I do want your charity. I'll take that back fully, 100%. No, it's way, way better to watch it openly. It's more shameful to watch it secretly. You need to tell at least 5 people that you watch it. Oh, that's what I said about that dude who says, I'm a biplane, I'm a biplane. He's a modern, like, 2025 chain letter. That's what he is. People are scared to not watch because they don't want to get cursed. So I always go to lives on my alerts now because of that. I think I had some from here. This is where closer to that. So we're gonna take some of this shoulder off right here. Glad I just sharpened this today too, because it is cutting nice. Let's give it a shot. But we had to move the camera to do that. We won't put anything with that. Just a tad more. It's close. No, I would say that. It's this right here. Man, I gotta put it in the. Hey, can you set me up on the work table, workbench? I'm gonna put this in the vise and work this side with the knot. I need to take this down to about this pairing line right here.
You're at 147 right now. Hey, Pilato said, anyone else excited for the start of football season?
Oh yeah, man, I love that smell and that seeing the football games on TV. Yeah, I'm trying not to watch it, but so there's a knot here, and I don't want to show people the wrong thing, which is trying to chisel stuff unsecured. So I wanted to put it on the workbench and work that a little bit. It would have been difficult to work down there. I'm about to move back in just a second.
Okay. What do you think Pilato is?
BYU.
Oh, but even in regular football?
I bet probably the Broncos will be his pro team.
Yeah.
If I'm guessing. If Pilato has a pro team, it's going to be, I'm going to think it's a West Coast team or somewhere in the mountains. So I would say the Broncos will be my best guess.
Okay. And then he also asked why trying to avoid watching football
Because I'll do it all the time. That's all I'll do. I'll get obsessed
And then really upset.
and then very upset. Like when my team loses, it affects my whole week. So if I don't watch them, I can have a good week regardless. It doesn't bother me. I know there's people out there who know what I'm talking about. When you can't shake your fanhood, it's a bad thing rather than a good thing. All right, I think that should fit now. And if it doesn't, we'll do it again. Okay. It's nice and tight. Look at that. What did Wish About Dan say?
No time to watch football anymore, although I kind of keep up on who's doing what.
Yeah, me too. I'm like in the middle about it, man. I just like can't invest that much. I'm trying to, just like those young guys that are playing football, I've got to think about like my stuff. These guys are career oriented. Same for me.
Lingham said, sweet.
Yeah. And they're nice and snug too, not too tight, I don't think, but snug.
Good guess. I grew up watching LA Denver.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not shocked. That's what I thought, because the folks out in the mountains, that's usually their team. Back in the day, they had only a team for each region, really. If you lived in the American South, you were either a fan of the Redskins, or you were a fan of the Dallas Cowboys, and it was a big deal. Now there's so many other teams in the South. Nobody would even include the Dolphins in there. That's another animal in and of itself. But if you were from the South, it was the Redskins or the Cowboys. Now they have Jacksonville and Carolina and Atlanta Falcons and all these other teams. Back in the day, it was just those two teams for that market. And similarly out west, you're going to have just a few teams. And in the mountains, you only got the one team. That's it. People from Montana and South Dakota, North Dakota, Iowa, those people will watch the Vikings. And historically. Yeah, so my team, I grew up a Vikings fan. I've been a Vikings fan for 40 years, literally. I was obsessed with the Vikings when I was already like 3 or 4 years old. Couldn't shake it. So, always been a Vikings fan. Can't get rid of it. My dad bought me Vikings gear, me and my brother Vikings gear when we were little, dressed us up in it. He indoctrinated us with it. Norm said he'd be back in a bit. See you later, Norm. 14 degree, which would be like, yeah, so what you're looking at is, this is a 15 degree dovetail here, approximately, right? 85 degrees, I think. I don't know. But remember, Lignum, this is not a dovetail box, so these dovetails aren't serving the exact same purposes like you would have a dovetail on a box, or where it has to have racking stresses from more than one direction. All this has to do is hold two sides together, basically. Fran Tarkington was the man. And I believe Fran Tarkington was actually born in Richmond, Virginia. The Tarkington family, big in Richmond. I think his cousin Sal's a news guy down up there. So even though Fran was a quarterback for the Vikings, he's really from like where I grew up in Virginia. I'm from Minnesota, but I grew up most of my childhood after the age of 7 was in Virginia. On the wall in here, I got Freddie Cox's practice jersey, and he was the kicker for the Vikings. He used to be one of the top scorers in NFL history. I got it up on the wall. Heather can show you with the camera probably. And it's his actual jersey, not a replica. His actual jersey.
John McAllister, I grew up in Iowa.
Oh yeah? Well, that's cool. John, did you grow up a Vikings fan or did you hate Minnesotans? Because I know my cousin in southern Minnesota has some. He loves Iowa. They go to Okoboji. They have a house there. We used to have land in Iowa, but my folks sold the land along with it. But we still got, my cousin's got a place in Okoboji, northern Iowa.
And Pilato said for NFL, I tend to follow former BYU players more so than any individual.
Right, like Steve Young.
Yeah, he says, I don't do fantasy football anymore, but fantasy marked the beginning of paying more attention to individual players than to the Broncos.
We had a BYU guy on the Vikings just a couple years ago. I'm trying to think. BYU's been producing some decent players recently. Obviously, Steve Young, one of the greatest in history. So,
John said definitely
yeah. I love that.
a fan.
Yeah, big Vikings fan, man, for sure. I'll put this up here. And now I laid that side out, Heather. Did I lay that other side out? No. Yeah. Getting stuff done today in Dad's workshop. Now here you can see how this one's tricky, right? There's no straight line here, so I got to figure where my line would be. Oh, they want to see the jersey?
I looked to it.
This is tricky.
Pilato said Steve Young was awesome.
Yeah, Steve Young was the man, dude. And I said this the other day, and I told Heather this. That Steve Young is like the great grandchild of Brigham Young. But if you put their faces up next to each other, put a young portrait of Brigham Young and a young portrait of Steve Young next to each other, spitting images. Change the 19th century clothes. He's like a spitting image.
And Pilato said so was Jim McMahon.
Jim McMahon was a beast. I met Jim McMahon, or didn't meet him. I was a little kid. I was at Disney World, and he was at Disney World with his kid. I knew him. I was a little guy. I was like 10 years old, but I recognized him right away because I was a huge football fan. This is tricky as all get out, dude. Running a layout on a curved face. I might have to, like, this is gonna have to be right here. Boom. Well, I need Paul Sellers' advice right now. What did Pilato say?
Love Ty Detmer, though he didn't have as much NFL.
Okay, Ty. Yeah, I remember him. Yeah. This is so tricky, man. This does not, I can't lay it out against this face. I would have to make a jig to do this, basically, guys. It's going to have to be eyeball. That's about right. I'm going to talk about bringing the carving aspect into it. All right, I need to trade shares with you, I think, maybe. Because all of this got to come out. Which one? McMahon. Yeah, I wasn't that mad at the Bears back in the day though, because the Vikings were so bad back then. They never even had a chance. Nowadays, I get mad at the Bears because the Vikings compete. Back in the day, I had nothing against the Lions because the Lions never competed, and the Bears were like dominant along with the Packers. So it was just always they were a step above us. So I didn't get mad about it. I did recognize that McMahon was greatness. You know, like he. But even when I saw him at Disney World as a kid, he had symptoms. Like he was sitting on the bench there. I was at the Epcot Center, and his kid was wandering around him. He had this like 1,000-mile stare look on his face. I mean, anybody can go off into a daze, but you know, I know since then he's talked about a lot about CTE. He's got symptoms of CTE and stuff. Where did I put my... Are you sitting there? I didn't hang it back up. Palado, what'd you do with my saw? It's probably just hiding. It doesn't want me to use it anymore. Nope, but I'll use that if I have to. I don't know how this thing kind of camouflages itself in here. All right, we'll use the little saw. I really prefer not to, but.
I'm pretty excited for BYU basketball this season too. I saw.
They looked really good last year, dude. Holy smokes. On the ceiling. Yeah, BYU was, I had them going to the Final Four, man, but something happened after that first round. They were on another level. Didn't they smoke VCU? Like, they just smoked them. See that breakout, blowout, tear out stuff? You're gonna see that a lot here. No way around it. That first line I made is more accurate, it looks like. I do have one little big knot on this side. It may give me some problems, so I want to cut through that. Y'all can hear it right now, probably making that high-pitched sound. Maybe a little shallow on that side where I do that layout mark. That's a piece of the knot right there. Yeah, the Tide was just, they were swapping threes like it was ridiculous. And that one guy on their team had a career night. He hit like 20-some three-pointers that night, I think, against BYU. I remember that game. How's that line look? I'm gonna tell you, it almost feels like there's a knot in there. I think this line's gonna have to be down a little bit from that. We're gonna find out that's not even with this side. Because I couldn't really put my tool up against it. Hi, Pietro. Welcome. Welcome to Dad's Workshop, Pietro. comment?
BYU defense should be much improved this season.
Oh, Pilato said the BYU defense should be much improved this season. Yeah, they were definitely offensive last year. They had great height though last year. Wonder if they'll have that same kind of height. I wasn't like following any in particular last year. I think I watched them all. I watched Heather knows. I watched all the college divisions, even the lower mid majors and the other ones. I was watching. My friend gave me access to his ESPN Plus. I was watching everything. Yeah. I really need my big mallet. Yeah, I'll get it. Are you gonna hand it to me? I want to thank Scoodoobie and Woodshed by Dan for their generous donations. Also, you know, Pilato and them made donations yesterday. I don't want to forget about those. Just because they were yesterday doesn't mean I forgot. All y'all, Wes did it yesterday as well. Carrie, who's gone right now. But all those folks. John also, who is in the chat. Appreciate all those folks, man. It's not nothing. Here's where the knot is. That's going to be the tricky part. That's why I sawed it in half, see? Alright, you can move it back.
I lost the chair. Pilato said more height, more athleticism because he's coming this season.
Wow, because I thought BYU was pretty tall last year. Back her up. Let's do it on the bear knee. See what's causing all that? Mike said something? Oh, back in the chat? Welcome back, Mike. That's what's causing all of that problem right there. Yep. All of the frustration from trying to get these the mortise level, it's all because of that one little knot. That did a little bit of crushing there, didn't it? I don't want it to crush. That's not ideal. But this is rough looking here with the bark and stuff, so it doesn't really matter. We're not going to gain anything aesthetically really here. This is the remnants of the knot. I want to get my big slick over here, or my second biggest slick. That will pulver. I'll just tear right through this mess. Let's try that. That's actually not even close. Oh no, it is close. Just a question that's actually a nice fit. It's just the shoulder has to be trimmed back there. What are you giggling about? What? I'm
My
sorry.
tab's not updated. I gotta wait.
Make sure it's off on here. Let's go back a second. Frostbite Digital said, howdy y'all. Norm Hughes said, yeah. Norm Hughes said, yeah, he was showing some measurements on a paper he had. Mike is making stuff wrote across the paper. The Jasco video about building furniture from plywood. Norm Hughes said, I think so. It was out yesterday. Wishhead by Dan said, yeah, that's the one. Hold on, I gotta wait for my chat to come back. Oh, the chat came back an hour later. And Jasco is top marks in my book.
You mentioned Mike subliminally.
Oh, subliminally? Cool, Mike. Wait, really, Mike? That's sick. And then Pilato said, what did Adam say? That's way cool, Mike. Frostbite, welcome. Sorry, I have no idea what I'm reading right now. I'm lost in the chat. Someone help me. I lost my context, that's all. Just taking a quick water break, folks. Give me 1 second, I'll be right back. Hey y'all, looks like I'm running out of battery, so I'm just want to say goodbye to y'all. We're gonna work on this bed. I might be back later today. Check out Mike, check out Wes, check out who's out of the folks that jumped in. Woodshed by Dan, Scoo Mike is making stuff. Wes, plywood, Norm Hughes. Who else? What was John? Yeah, shout out John. Appreciate you being back today, John from Iowa. Looking for anybody. Pilato. Making sure I get my folks in there. Frostbite Digital, thank you for coming. Daniel Gandara, yep. Correct. New person, Pietro, welcome. Also,
oh yeah, what was yesterday's
Lignum?
Your story about the babies with the beard.
Oh yeah, the baby went back to the family.
Yeah.
The baby was delivered back to the family, and the social worker told me that the rule of thumb is that even if it's a really tough situation, the kid usually goes back to the family. If the kid is taken from the family permanently, in 9 out of 10 cases, we're talking some really serious stuff. Because even abusive kids who've been abused are delivered back to their families. Because honestly, their outs as a foster child and in and out of the system are worse than if they were abused. They've done the math. So appreciate everybody being here. There's the end of that cliffhanger. Frostbite Digital said, Mike, I need to pick your brain when you have time. Me and Zlako have been talking about an idea that has some similarity to something you mentioned to him. So I wanted to read that. Appreciate everybody being here. All y'all, see you a little bit later. This is Calvin, and this is Dad's Workshop signing out.